I think if you're gonna hear Morrison, you're gonna need 4 members.
Yeah, we've got Damon's gonna be online, and, I'm not,
I don't think you can hear it.
I can't hear it, no, but,
So,
in,
we got-
what's his
Barry's
name?
gonna be here.
Barry's gonna be here in about 7:30, he said, so,
Okay, so you
We'll
might
take-
have a delay.
yeah, we'll table it till 7:30.
Yeah,
Mr. Chairman, do you mind if I pause the meeting for a moment?
Absolutely, go ahead.
Mr. Chairman, for 3 years, we all worried about you. We watched you decline. We saw much less of you. We worried about you. But the one thing we didn't do is ever hear you complain. Your bravery is inspiring. I just want you to know how happy we all are to have you back.
here, here.
Very good. True,
Well, I appreciate it.
You're the person to yell at me now.
I appreciate everyone's sentiments and certainly all the kind words and interactions, whether it be a text, email, or along Facebook that I received was kind of humbling. When you start receiving 400 and 500 contacts, you didn't realize that many people actually cared. But people were reaching out left and right. I think those prayers work because let me tell you what, going into the surgery, I was probably as close to death's door as you could get. And for me to be sitting here today so quickly, I mean, it's been exactly 6 weeks since the surgery. For me to be sitting here today before everybody is just amazing. I mean, modern medicine is unbelievable. And I'm happy to be back. I'm ready to get to work, and we've got a lot to do in the next year. There are major changes to the zoning act by the state that are going to change a lot of our zoning regulations that we're going to have to deal with. We're going to be rewriting a lot of zoning regulation for Mendon. If anyone who's not aware of the changes in the zoning act, they are looking to increase housing, reduce densities. These are all things Mendon's got to look at and work towards, or they'll pull the state will pull the funding. They're not playing games with this. They want to bring additional housing to rural America. I mean, that's their goal. And whether it be large tenements that you see going up in almost every town, they're coming to Mendon. And we don't, some of it's as of right, some of it we can't even deny. So this year is going to be a very busy year for the board. We're going to have a lot of ground to cover. And I got my man Jack over here who's going to help me with it. And, we'll get a lot accomplished this year. When I took this role 12 years ago, Mendon had a 9-page zoning book. It's almost 80 now, and it's probably, by the time we're done with this zoning act changes, it's probably going to be closer to 130. But it needs to be done. It needs to be done for the growth of the community. The planning board's job is just that, planning, not reacting. We got to be out in front of it, and that's what we'll remain to do. With that being said, is there any old business?
Well, we can't do the approval.
Yeah, we can't do the minutes, not until
Minutes.
Barry gets here.
And we can't do Morrison Drive till Barry gets here.
Yeah, we can't do Morris until Barry gets here, so what else we got here?
So we could hear Jessica Smith probably, right?
Yeah. Is Jessica Smith here yet? Jessica, please come up and take a seat up here. Now, Jack was nice enough to give me a lead-in on what's going on. Just for the board's sake, if you guys recall, we approved her expansion on her daycare on Hartford Avenue West. She's looking to expand again. And so, why don't you fill us in on what you're trying to do? And
All right. I have a ranch-style house, and my walkout basement is where I work, the preschool is. We have a little bump out on the end of our ranch that we want to tear down, and we want to add a 28 by 32 addition to it, so I can add 2 more classrooms.
So the big white pot in the back, is that what you're talking about?
No, that's my mom's house.
Oh, okay, you're next door.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so the little bump out on the side, we want to tear that down, add that space, so we can add 2 more classrooms on the basement, the walkout part of it. So it'd still be all living quarters at the top, and then the basement would be, the whole thing would be the daycare.
Okay, so you're gonna add about, what, 800 square feet?
Yeah, 896 square feet.
Okay. Has anyone designed a plan for you or anything?
No, not yet, because I want to go through this first to see. It still would look very much like a house from
Right.
the street, even from the back. We just have the fenced-in play areas, so that could look like, people might think it was then a daycare because
Yep.
of that. But I mean, people have fenced-in play yards in the back of their house
Right.
also. We are turning people away we're getting calls and emails all the time for a space. I mean, there is a need for it, and I would like to expand the business if possible.
Yeah, and with all that being said, the issue for the board is we have to make sure what you're doing
Is-
ties into the community around you, and that it doesn't really impact your neighbors, or, we're gonna have to look at a traffic issue, how many parking spots, stuff like
Yeah.
that. That area that we turned into, Jack, correct me, residential business or
General residential.
general residential? When I wrote that bylaw, its intention was to keep the scope of any business that, in that district, so it conforms to the community around it. We're not obviously looking for commercial buildings. We're
Right,
looking
yeah,
for
no.
something that looks like a residence
Yeah,
and allows for, so we would need, we would need a plan.
okay.
Some
much
type of
of a-
site plan, something that,
I just did a quick thing up with
Okay.
this, if you want to just see that. It's just pencil, me just doing something up. So the road would be here, all right?
Yeah.
This is the house, this is where the little,
bump out is?
yeah, we're making it bigger. This is my driveway, this is the existing play yard. We have a patio here right now, we'd tear that up and add another play yard. So people could drive in, park right here, back up and drive out.
Okay.
But you're looking for a variance for the other lot too, right? Are you looking for a variance for, that you submitted for the red barn next door?
Yes, yes. That's to build a house on, for
Yes,
the JNAD, yeah.
okay.
That's,
That's nothing to do with this then?
No, that's nothing to do with it.
Okay, because I saw the same name, and I'm on the
Yes,
zoning
yes.
board.
no,
Okay,
So this is
Forget
just
about that.
No, that's all right.
yeah,
So that's just a rough idea.
So the plan is more so to make sure we can see your setbacks.
Hey, Bill, this is Dave, but I finally got on here, I couldn't get on live.
okay. Not much has happened.
So you want to see, like my side, how close I
We need to
am?
see how far you are
Yeah,
from
we-
the lot lines and.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, I wouldn't be any closer to the road than my house already
Your
is.
existing, yeah, that's
Yes,
fine.
So you basically need this right here on this side.
Yeah, see where you're.
Yeah.
your boundary line is over here, I assume, when
Yes,
you're
I
in.
believe it was 20 feet. I know I did not go within the 20 feet. I don't know, I think it's
Yeah,
less, you know what I mean?
yeah,
Like-
less than 20.
Yes.
I mean, it'd be more than
More than-
20.
more than
Yes,
20.
More than
thank
20.
you.
Less than 20, you need a
on the
variance.
side.
Yeah,
And we need to know what's gonna happen here, because you're gonna have cars parking in this way. What type of a buffer are you gonna have to protect the play zone here?
All right, we could put the cement blocks, or we could put those yellow, I usually do.
It's gotta be something that's a little bit more,
Okay.
if a car can get over it, with this kid's playing right there.
Okay,
Yeah.
so would the yellow pillars, would that,
Yeah, if, I
The
mean,
the
bollards or
concrete,
whatever.
yeah, the
would
bollards,
that
yeah.
be the taller ones? Would
Yeah.
be a better-
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
could definitely do
4 or
that to
5 feet
prevent
tall.
any
Yeah.
cars pulling and
Yeah.
hitting that fence.
just as long as they're, professionally installed,
Okay.
so that, nothing could get through it.
And, yeah, and if you have an idea of what the building's gonna look like, even if it's a written, what type of siding it's gonna be, because obviously we want it to conform to the neighborhood.
Okay, all right.
We don't want it to look like a commercial building, we want it
Yes,
to
I
look
don't-
like a home, yeah. So,
You wouldn't want your house changing too much.
so, we can, move forward with it as soon as you, have some of that stuff done, all right?
Okay, all righty. So just get the exact
Yeah,
distance
get
on
all
the
the-
side, and then a drawing of what the front would look like.
Yeah,
Okay,
and then
You need
it,
an architect drawing with a stamp,
yeah.
Right.
And,
an
okay,
engineer drawing.
an engineer
Okay.
drawing, yeah. I mean, you know what, in this type of situation, you're gonna need an engineer drawing.
okay,
You're probably gonna need it when you go to building anyways, because they're gonna need the site plan.
okay,
So you should probably have someone draw it for you.
okay,
To be honest.
all righty.
You know, and,
Bill?
yes,
Jessica, you should also contact the Board of Health about your septic system to make sure it can handle the additional kids and the additional space.
Okay,
yeah, that's a good point.
The well probably is okay, but you could talk to the Board of Health about that too.
all right. I know with the well, we'll have to go through the public water supply, doing
Yeah.
all that. And it's pretty new, the well probably last 8 years. And even the septic was 2014 or 2015.
Yeah, it's whether it's, made to,
That much.
Right, it's the size. It's
Right.
something.
One of the classrooms would be infants and toddlers, so I wouldn't have to worry about them.
as
It would
much.
just be the
right.
extra 9 children in the other
Yeah.
classroom. But then my classroom now is gonna go down a couple of children, so it'd only be,
Yeah, it usually, for, commercial space in Mendon, it usually tables out at about 50. I know when I built my building, that was the factor for the Board of Health, but I don't want to get hung up on Board of Health issues, that's their, I like to stay in my lane. So we're only going to deal with planning issues, it's up to you to.
get a hold of them to make sure
To
it's
get a hold
okay.
of Board of Health and make sure everything's okay.
Okay, all right, I can
And
do
you
that.
might want to do that ahead of time.
Okay,
I'm not sure what it takes to get a public water supply in when you don't have a 200-foot radius
yeah,
these days, but, you know, you might want to investigate that first.
all right, so hold on this and try to sign up, not for the next meeting, but maybe the meeting, like
Yeah.
depending how long it takes.
Yeah, whenever
me to-
you're ready, just, you know, contact Gail
Okay,
and get on the agenda. We'll set a public hearing date, and then we'll, as long as we don't get stormed with all your neighbors, you know.
it's family,
Yeah, well, it's, I mean.
for the most part.
Your engineer will probably help you with the public water supply also.
Who was that?
Your engineer that
Oh, okay, they can,
you can, talk to them about the public water. supply.
awesome, okay, all right, good to know.
Yeah, and whether the Board of Health is gonna make you jump through that hoop, or
Okay,
what the requirement is. I'm not sure. I mean, like I said, that's not our purview, so. But it's a good suggestion, Jack. Just check that out before she goes down the,
okay,
down
Spending all
this
the money.
alley and get into trouble.
okay, awesome, all right, thank you very much.
You're welcome. All right. Is there anything else we were gonna?
You can do the town hall discussion.
Oh, yeah, they would, someone for the town hall, yes. How we doing, Ian? How are you? I'm doing great. It's good to be back.
See you.
It's great to be back. It really is. I was climbing the walls. You know, nothing bothered me I mean, I could handle being away from my business more than I can handle being away from the planning board. And the master plan committee. Be at that next meeting.
Yes, we do.
You should, yeah. Yeah, here you go.
We have a couple full-size plans too, if you prefer to see.
Jeff, have you seen these at all?
Not at all.
This is for the town hall. So, we're gonna ask that our engineer do a review of it,
Yes,
just to make sure that it all makes sense. Whoa,
This gonna be a submittal?
Yes, we'll talk about that.
Okay.
yeah,
So I just wanted to introduce them from the Porcelain Witten Group. And I wanted to remind you of the project.
yep,
It's the Town Hall campus area, and we received a Municipal Vulnerability Preparedness Grant, or MVP, $169,000. to design the landscape and the green stormwater infrastructure for this area. And one reason we got the grant is because the idea is to have it be like a model example of how you can use low-impact development and nature-based solutions and handle stormwater runoff. And the committee, we've been meeting for like 7 or 8 months, and we have the Police Chief Kersey, Fire Chief Kessler, Kim's on the committee, Alan Tatro from Highway, Dan Byer, Kathy Schofield, a representative from the MVP program, and myself. So it's a well-rounded, committee that's been working on the project. So the one thing is, since it is a grant, we have to spend the money by June 30th.
Yeah.
And it's kind of a tight schedule. And we would like to apply for the next round of grants, and part of that is, you have to have your money spent. So Gemma and Rich are going to answer like all your questions on the plan, and hopefully we hope that next week they'll be able to give you a stamped plan. The engineer will be able to look at it, and then possibly at your April 25th meeting, you might be able to approve it.
We'll meet in 2 weeks,
Sorry.
not next week,
Okay.
2 weeks.
I don't think you'd be ready by then, though, right? Or,
No, we can do the April 25th meeting. That should be fine.
yeah,
No, that's not 2 weeks, it's 4 weeks.
4 weeks, that's right,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, okay.
And so,
Now, if I'm looking at this correctly, it seems like the old Taft Library is cut out of it?
So the old library is a part of the project site.
Oh, okay, because
Yeah, so
the way the dotted lines go, it goes around the building.
Yeah, if you'd like, I can give kind of an overview of what
Sure.
we're proposing here. Okay, so hi, everyone. My name is Gemma Kite. I'm an engineer with the Horsley Witten Group. We're based out of Sandwich, Mass. I'm also joined with Rich Clater, president of the Horsley Witten Group. And as Ann said, we've been working with the town over the last few months to pull together this project. So this project, we're calling it the Town Hall Campus Restoration. It's going to formalize traffic flow through the campus, provide parking, sidewalks, and landscaping and stormwater management. So if you go down to sheet C5, which is the site plan, I'll just kind of walk through a couple highlights of this, and I'm also showing it up on the big screen too. Really maximizing the hybrid approach here. So I think the big thing, if you look at the site plan, that you'll notice, besides the fact that the old police station has been demolished in this plan, is the traffic flow through the site. What we are proposing to do is maintain the main entrance on and off the site and the exit as the area that's currently in between the town hall and the new police station. So that will maintain as the main entrance and exit. We are also proposing to put a one-way exit driveway, which is shown on the left side of the old library, and that will terminate with a right turn only onto Main Street.
In the current area between here will be walking area.
Correct. So we are proposing to close off that existing entrance and exit and turn that whole area into what we are calling a little park or a parklet. So that's going to be a landscaped area with sidewalks, benches, canopy trees, plantings, and it's going to have available space for the town to be able to put other site amenities there if they would like to, like a pergola or, some other type of area.
Yeah, I mean, the layout looks very good. The only issue I have is we've got a building that basically houses 3 floors, and we got another building next door, and we've got, how many parking spots? Yeah.
Yes, so
There's a lack of parking.
with our plans, this will bring the total site parking to 30 parking spaces, and that includes
That includes the police,
that does not include
No?
the cruiser parking lot behind the building, behind the police station, but it does include these parking spaces in front of the new police station. So all told, it's 30 total parking spaces, and that includes, I believe, 5 handicap parking spaces.
My concern is the in and out, but out here by the police station, that's tight now. You got 2 trucks, 2 pickups coming out, you can't make the swing,
where's this? Where you
right here.
Oh, the main entrance?
The main entrance is so tight.
Yeah, so we are proposing to maintain that at a 24-foot drive aisle.
That is tight.
We understand that. We've been in close communication with Chief Kessler on all of the site design, and he's comfortable with a 24-foot.
Oh, I understand that, but I mean, I've parked there many times, pulling out of there, it's tight.
Sure.
I think
And
you're gonna have
we've noticed that
accidents there.
too. Right.
It's a bad area.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's almost questioning whether we should just make that one-way in, you know, and, I mean, it's not that difficult to drive around the building and come out the other side. And to be honest with you,
Like a one-way
that's an easier egress from the parking area. That's an easier egress than here, because you often get people who fly through this intersection and they're on top of you before.
I've almost got hit a couple times out here just pulling out now, and
So I'll defer to Chief Kessler, who I believe is joining us virtually. I believe he
Yes.
needs
Yes.
a 20-foot four aisle for the
Yeah, we need the
emergency
20
vehicles access.
Yeah, and
the radius is too
So
tight.
the problem is we are not able to fit a 24-foot drive aisle where that one-way exit is right now.
What about this area here? Can't you tuck this in closer to the building?
Right, so that right now is being proposed as some green space. We're putting stormwater management right there. So right now, you do see the parking is tucked in right by this, the ramp.
That whole parking area is tight.
But I think what he's asking, well, the problem is, if you pull that in, then you're exposing the vehicles that are parked there to incoming traffic. You can't do that.
This is also existing too, right? Rich? I
Yeah,
believe
this is the existing width. My name's Rich Claytor.
Well, it's existing the way it is now.
Yeah.
It wasn't always that way. There used to be a telephone pole in the middle.
I understand.
And-
They just,
Yeah,
you just poured all those curbs and
Yeah.
put all that in for the new addition.
for the new addition.
You know, this end
What's
could be wider,
changing
not
is
here, but here.
the access from the building to, you know, where you've got those parking spots and where you've got the retention area.
I just think that's gonna be a problem. It is now.
Yeah, right now, the new layout really doesn't work. I mean, to be honest with you, I stay away from this intersection. I usually come down here, turn
I won't
around
even
and
drive
park
in there
up
with my
here.
truck now. I only got a pickup.
Yeah,
Well, one of the things that this will do for you is allow a separate exit. It also provides an emergency response, though, to be able to come in and out of the same entrance. So,
Right.
so that's why it was retained, and then, you know, we were asked to look at a separate exit, the right out only, and it works.
I don't have to
It's
spray
tight,
that much.
we're
no,
I
I mean,
it does work.
what's that, 12 foot?
It's a 12-foot
It's a
drive aisle.
12-foot drive aisle. It maintains a 10-foot setback per the zoning requirements from the
Right.
property line.
But that doesn't have to be 12 feet. It could be bigger, right?
No.
No, they're out of space on
We
that
won't be
side.
able to make the 12, yeah.
12
anything,
feet
yeah.
isn't wide. My driveway is 12 feet,
Yeah, I mean, that's
Well,
tough.
it's designed as a driveway.
yes.
Yeah,
Hey, guys,
yeah.
is there any way that you can waive the zoning setback to make it a little bit bigger? The sideline setback?
Yeah.
That would take an act by the Board of Appeals.
Yeah, I'd have to go to the ZBA for relief,
Yeah.
for relief of the setback. Yeah, Dan.
The other obstacle there is the utility pole that
Yeah.
basically can't be moved.
Oh, there's a,
Well, it can be moved, it has to go to the neighbor's property, which could be difficult.
yeah,
This is a guy wire.
So there's a guy and a
Good.
pole there.
I got you.
Plus, the grading to make grade alongside the old library here is fairly tight. And we want to maintain a steady grade coming up this driveway to meet the existing grade here at the street.
What would the grade be?
Maximum grade is about 8.6%, but it flattens out at the top there for sight distance, so you can see it. So it's less than 3%
Because that
grade at the
bylaw
top.
allows 8%.
Actually, I
Well,
think
it's a
I think
driveway.
7.
I thought it was 8, maybe it's 7.
Okay, it's a
Yeah, I
driveway
think 7%.
If you're over 7, you're gonna have to go for variance.
for a road. For
Yeah, this is
street.
a-
That's a public way.
This is a driveway.
Yeah.
private, well, it's your maintained, but it's not a street. It's not a public street. You know, with a right-of-way and all of those
My
provisions.
only concern is turning in down there,
It's
that's,
also permeable pavement, so in terms of the safety of the slope, it won't really have runoff.
I've got no problem with that.
So that'll help that issue. And then it has a landing grade, so you can see once you
Yeah.
get to the top.
Levels off, kind of.
So if
Yep.
somebody's coming out and somebody's coming in, how are they gonna get by each other?
No one's
Oh, no,
coming
that's-
in.
That's, one way
This is
out.
one way out. The only way you're gonna get in is here. That's what we're talking about, how tight it is now getting in there. You can't turn in there. If you're pulling out with a truck, somebody can't turn in unless you back up or somebody pulls out.
Well, I mean, what's your feelings, Jeff, as far as a 24-foot entrance?
The 24-foot is very common. It's the two radii that I worry about. The 10-foot radius on the left side, that's a little bit tight.
Correct.
15's a little, probably gonna be a little more comfortable for passenger vehicles to churn out, and maybe a larger pickup truck to churn out and still stay in the northbound lane. The 24-foot, that's pretty standard.
Okay.
I did notice that the existing conditions, I think they're showing
Is there any
27.
way of changing that radius?
Yeah, you might be able to pull that radius back. There's a pole right there, right there where the turn is, but you probably could pull that back a little bit. I don't know if you're gonna get the full 15%.
Well,
And I-
anything that would help would be greatly appreciated,
Yeah.
That curb's existing too, I believe, right?
It's a 27-foot width per the existing condition plan, so that's what the dimension, you know, it could be. We could maintain that. I mean, I think the 24-foot was designed to just be the standard two-way road.
Yeah, if you could, I feel more comfortable with that, certainly.
I do too, completely.
I can't tell, but it almost looks that the, the entrance is being closed up a little bit. I'm using the
Yeah,
existing utility pole as like, as a point that doesn't move, of course, and it looks to me like, it's a longer radius in the existing conditions, than what it becomes in the proposed conditions. It looks like there's a little bit of, curb being extended along Main Street down toward the entrance, closing up the entrance a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, to the point of keeping the radius, if that's new, is that new granite that was installed?
Yeah.
That perhaps, maybe the entrance, the new granite around the new parking places can somehow be tied into that existing granite at the entrance.
Yeah.
Thereby keeping the opening a little bit larger and keeping the radius
Yeah.
what it is today.
The 27 feet, yes.
Yeah.
I think we could make that work. Yep.
okay.
And then bring it into the 24, I'm comfortable with the 24.
Yep. Transition into the 24 as you get down. Yep, okay.
Mr. Chairman, as far as the one-way out goes, the north side, I mean, that's 12 feet, when I look at like, apartment places that have, or multifamily housing that have a boulevard entrance, and I've experienced where there's two 12-foot lanes. For a lot of traffic going in and out of those, the vehicles can't wander in their lane compared to a 14-foot lane, and I've actually seen settlement occur because the tires are always in the same point. There's not gonna be nearly as much traffic on this. This is, to the point made by someone, it's about as wide as a normal driveway. I agree, it's about as wide as a normal driveway. It'll be important so I'm not worried about the 12-foot width, but I would like to make sure that vehicles coming out, to the extent they can, it's gonna be tough for them to make a left, and I can see they've achieved that with the larger radius on the left of the entrance and the smaller radius on the right of the entrance. To me, right turn only coming out of there makes sense because of that, the existing intersection. at
Yeah,
Main
that's-
Street and the other street.
That's gonna be difficult to
difficult to enforce, I think.
Yeah, we're gonna be driving most of our traffic back to this entrance, that means, because there's only a certain amount that are gonna take a right out of the, so a lot are either gonna be looking to go up Maple or go down south end of town, and,
And just try,
That intersection, Bill, is probably almost like a situation where there's a no left turn.
yeah, well, that's exactly what we're talking about, yeah.
But how are we gonna make that, you know, I mean, we're asking people to basically go
Okay.
all the way around to head. to
Well,
the-
no, yeah, well, they'll have to come back, they'll have to come,
No, but I
from
mean, if
any of these
somebody-
parking spots, they'll have to come out this way.
I mean, if somebody takes a right, but they live on that end of town.
Well, that's what I'm saying, they'd have to come out here.
Yeah.
So we're gonna be driving all traffic to this entrance.
people trying to take a left out during certain times of the day with a stop condition at the intersection, I would think that the people trying to take a left are basically blocked.
Yeah.
Not that there's gonna be a lot of flow of
Well,
traffic.
maybe we do consider making a right turn only.
Hey, Bill?
Well, you're
Yeah.
talking about the existing entrance? Or
No,
the new one?
no, the new one.
So the new one has a sign there, right turn only, and
It's a right
we've,
turn.
Okay, that
we've
is
set,
right.
we've set it up, and I think you'd have a sign saying one way out, so people don't come in that way,
Yeah,
number
exactly.
one. And then
Not
right turn
enter would
only,
be
no
good.
left turn. So a couple of signs,
Yeah,
and then the geometry design making it very challenging or close
For
to
a left
impossible
turn.
of making a left turn out of
yeah.
there. That was the strategy going into this.
Jack, you want to,
Yeah, I had a comment, a question. Back to this right turn only, the way that's designed, people are gonna cheat all over the place. I don't care how many signs you put up. That has to be exaggerated, completely exaggerated. I've run into this a million times and it's really difficult, very difficult.
it's almost, you gotta cut that curb off.
And you might be making a situation worse without exaggerating that turn. So you're forcing them to not cheat.
Yeah, like
because they're gonna.
you see a lot of commercial, places today that have, like Jack said, it really, they're forcing the entrance to, that you can only make a right turn.
Well, we could make that radii smaller to the
Yeah.
illegal left turn. The right-hand radii is kind of at the maximum without the pole relocation.
No,
And-
that's fine, the right side, but we
Just
got,
Yeah.
mimic the right hand. that's
yeah,
all.
just follow that out, yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Some curving, granite curving maybe, anything to stop them.
And to be honest with you, that'll make it a difficult, for anyone to enter it too.
Okay.
And then my other question is, Gemma, could you go to the back where the parking is?
There you go.
Well, I want to show that and the auxiliary building, the annex. So if I work in the annex, my preferred parking will be down in the middle here or way in the back, correct?
Yeah, is the annex the old library?
Yes.
Okay, yes, yes, that is correct. Yeah, so you'd be here in the middle or preferred up here as well.
And then if you could drag it so we could see the little walkway you made. So in theory, the walkway that loops around goes right into a parking spot, I guess. It's hard to understand
There's
this.
Yes.
there's a sidewalk up, yeah, zoom in there.
What do you got, stepping stones in there?
Okay.
So this curvy sidewalk that you're seeing through the little parklet is all ADA accessible, and so it follows this curvilinear path so that we can make it accessible. We know that people are going to circumvent a long path by stepping the direct line, so we thought the best way to handle that was to provide some stepping stones and some curb steps to allow people to naturally cut off the longer path, if you will.
I think it's a great idea. I think it'll look nice, but how, what kind of maintenance is necessary for this kind of stepping stone?
How about if we just put pavers? I mean, pavers are easy to manage.
We could,
I mean, I kind of like the stepping stones, but I'm worried that we're gonna be replacing it every year.
The game plan is to make those like a beefy stone that will be set at grade that you can mow over, number one, so you can run a mower across it. And then just the only thing you'd step up on is the curb steps.
and the reason
I
why.
just wondered for snow clearing and stuff, you know.
Well, you wouldn't necessarily have to clear that during snow, number one, okay, because you're going to have the ADA sidewalk.
Oh, I got you.
So that's for the contractors that are going to want to cut the shortcut
Right.
and don't want to take the long.
Again, I'd just like you to take another look at what's the history on that. And you don't want to set up a problem, that's all.
Yeah. Like I said, I don't think pavers are a bad change there.
Yeah,
too.
we could look at that, sure.
Sorry.
Hold on, what-
On the stepping stones, but you got stairs there that, because of the grade, I'm assuming you're using stairs, right?
Yes.
That's correct.
Yeah, I get that, yeah.
So, I mean, either way, no matter what you put there, you're still gonna have to have a set of stairs to bring them up there, so.
Right.
All right, let's take a question here.
Yeah, sorry, Washington. I don't, and maybe it was answered because of the grade there. Is that the reason that we couldn't flip the ADA swoop to the other side and have it pick up maybe on, have it pick up on this side, swoop this way, so you're getting closer to the door here and then continue up to the town hall?
It all starts at the street elevation, so scroll down a little, Gemma, from the street. So the grade is dropping down Main Street, and in order to get from the Main Street down to the parking lot, you need to start at that side, and then you have to make it all the way down. It's just a length and making a 5% grade the whole way.
Okay, thank you.
We also, I mean, this is an added feature, but we thought it would be nice. We haven't talked yet about stormwater management on site, but this is a stormwater planter box. So it's think of like a raised garden bed that manages stormwater. And we thought this was a really neat aesthetic feature, and we wanted people to be able to walk by it and see it as they're walking through the site. So it's an added value of having this path this way.
We didn't spend a lot of time talking about this, but this is Ann mentioned it, but this is an MVP grant to manage and treat stormwater, and then to document all these different techniques so that they can serve as an educational opportunity. So we've got about 5 different kinds of stormwater control practices that are being displayed here. The grant also includes signage and educational components with QR codes, so the public can see and learn about some of these different control measures.
Ask one more question here. I know we have a parking problem here. Why can't we take these handicap spots, put them here, and have 4 parking spaces here added?
So that's a great, that's a great point. But it just wouldn't work with the grading, I don't think,
You
here.
can't, that
See how
8% plus or minus slope that's coming down there, you can't get the 2% required for an ADA parking spot and make it flat enough.
So what about leaving the handicap spots where they are and putting just regular parking spaces there? Just to add, I mean, we're just, there's such a lack of parking here.
So the town committee that we worked with requested an ADA parking space in this area. So right now we show 2, because that makes sense with the drive aisle there, but we could potentially explore providing a non-ADA compliant space there as well.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, it's just, you'd be surprised how quickly these spots are gone. And now that we're adding so much more to the campus, I just think you're gonna be at such a lack of parking, and I know that now we're restricted to kind of a mess here, where there's always people parked across the street. you can't see to walk back. I mean, I'm dressed in black tonight. I parked over here because I don't want to walk across the street. I want to enjoy my retirement.
We did have the town committee that we worked with, sort of do a quick survey of how many parking spaces they thought would be necessary based on employees and meetings and visitors. And it was decided that around 30 parking spaces, including the handicap accessible spaces, would be sufficient. So that's kind of what our target was.
So employee-wise, I understand your point, but when we have a meeting here that's drawing in a good portion of the community, we need parking spaces.
Yeah, I mean, the problem with it is overlay from the police station, there's already people parking over there. There might be people working in town hall at the same time meetings going on. So a lot of the parking spots are already chewed up before we even have the meeting, people show up. But I'm not,
Probably could put in a few parallel spaces going up there. You might be able to do a few perpendicular to that, but it's with a 12-foot lane.
yeah.
It's not really enough to back out unless it's an angled parking. So to try and accommodate 2 or 3 more spaces, it's also challenging to park on an 8% grade.
So-
Yeah, I don't,
So they're leaving this way, why
Yeah.
can't they back into a spot going this way?
Yeah, you could possibly do in the back-end spots, angled parking.
I want to get back to that 12-foot driveway. When you're coming out, now you're talking about narrowing up the exit, so you're forcing people to turn right.
well, they're
You're
not
gonna have
narrowing it
Delivery
up.
trucks coming in here delivering stuff, some box trucks and stuff like that. They're never gonna be able to make that swing without going over the curb.
The
What are you talking,
The
go
char-
back, yeah.
the charge we were given by the committee was to essentially create a relief area.
Yeah, I don't think the
for-
trucks are gonna flow.
And the
up.
trucks would not, delivery trucks would not be doing that movement.
You tell a truck driver, after he drives in, where's he gonna go?
But we did set it up so the fire chief could get his fire engine out of there, so it does have the radius to do that. So you could do.
Yeah, it does now, but you're not gonna shorten it up.
No, well, we wouldn't change the width. All you would do is just make that radii
Swing out, you're
smaller.
gonna swing wide and swing out.
Just one comment on the parking. Most of the meetings here are at night, and that's when the staff isn't here. And it's kind of a rare occasion where you do, sometimes, yes, we have those meetings where there's a lot of people, but it's really rare. And so that's why we thought that that number was, you know,
Well, I mean, I guess coming back to my point here, when people come here to a meeting, it's generally one person per car. You know, it's not like, you know, it's not like they're going to the theater where 4 people jam in a car and, you know, I don't know,
I mean,
we
there
got a
is-
plan for now and we got a plan
there
for
is-
50 years from now.
There is street parking, but, I mean, yeah, up in the center of
I'm
town.
just concerned about the exits, that's all.
You know, you gotta,
you can look
yeah,
at
I mean,
a couple of extra spaces. Yeah.
It's gonna be
I mean,
tight.
they'll look at for some extra spaces, you know, to see if there's other.
Because you're gonna have people
moving them.
delivering to here. I've seen them drive in with a box truck, 20-foot box or whatever. So now where are they gonna go?
well, if,
Gonna back on the street?
if you, on that left edge of that, or the right edge looking at it, but actually the left edge, if that, instead of coming straight down, you kind of widened it out and turned it,
You can't do that because there's a pole there.
no, the pole's on the other side.
There's a pole right here,
There's a lot of poles.
Yeah, no, I'm talking about the other side.
this side here.
Yeah, if you straighten that out and just then swung it at the very end. So you'd actually have a wider width, but it'd still be turning, taking away that
The
radius.
problem there, that's all.
I think, too, the idea is that the majority of traffic is using the main entrance over here. So a delivery truck should go around the island and go back the way they came. This is just a backup.
Yeah,
And
but even-
There should be a no truck sign.
But even a fire truck coming in and out of there might have a.
They're not
a
gonna turn
time
around,
slip.
they're gonna wanna go out that way.
Well, the fire truck requires that access too.
You got a telephone pole there, Bill, but why can't we move a telephone pole?
Well, it took about 8 months for him to move the last one.
I actually had a
How long
really,
gonna take us to even get this figured out?
I had a really productive meeting with National Grid about a week ago, and with an engineer, and she walked me through all the options, because we're looking at hopefully getting rid of poles and burying stuff. The big issue over there, that pole has to stay in some fashion, so it can't go. It could get moved onto the neighbor's property, so it could go over here, but then we gotta negotiate an easement and figure all that out.
Well, we don't have to negotiate the easement, National Grid does.
I think Grid is gonna tell us if, they're not just gonna move this pole, because it's our pole, for our service.
But we got a 10-foot easement onto the edge of the property.
I mean, it may be a non-issue, it just, when talking with the woman that I met with, it sounded like
They don't need permission to move a pole.
moving that pole was a major obstacle, because it's
Yeah.
got the service coming in, it's got all the telecom.
Oh, I
and the
agree.
neighbor's property.
There's plenty tying into that pole, but I think it could still be moved. I mean, we got room on our own property.
I
We're
can find out.
we're like 13, 14 feet from the property line, even if we moved it 6 feet or 8 feet.
There's a guy wire, and the guy wire cannot be moved, it can't be driven under. We can have two poles and drive between them. But it's, I can call her back and find out, what would be involved in moving it. It sounded like that was a pretty major
It's just an option.
Yeah.
I just was thinking, we get poles put in and taken out all over and everywhere. I just didn't know why. I mean, you couldn't move it 10 feet and that would eliminate a big problem on that curve.
All right,
We can look into that more.
yeah, we can look into that more, and Jeff can do his engineering. But I want to reach out to Bill Kessler here. I noticed the location of the cistern. You comfortable with that, Bill?
Yeah, can you scroll the picture down to the cistern?
Yes, it's
It's
there
right-
now.
It's there now.
Oh, I'm not seeing it on my screen.
It'll catch up.
There's a bit of a delay, Chief Kessler.
Okay. Anyways, we've talked a lot about the cistern with the committee and with Gemma and crew. And they work so that we can get the engines in to access that cistern. You see the little pad there? I think it's...
Can you shrink that down so we can look at, my issue when I was looking at that, Bill, wasn't that, my issue with it was that if you were trying to run a line up, say the town hall was on fire, you were trying to run a line up and there are cars parked, and, I mean, to run a hose up from there might be a little challenging.
Well, with the width of the roadway, and I use the NFPA code of 20-foot fire department access roadways. We're gonna put a truck down there and it's 1 4-inch line. And actually it would probably just be hand laid from that cistern if there was a fire at the police station, town hall, or that auxiliary building.
Okay.
One of the reasons why I did like the way they did that exit there was that if there was a fire in another part of downtown there, that we would send the engine down that out roadway to the cistern and then be able to pump up to the roadway to either fill tankers or supply water. But I'm comfortable. We spent a lot of time talking about the access to the trucks. Jim and Steve took turning radiuses from equivalent trucks to make sure that they'd be able to turn through there. So they did the engineering work on that as well.
Okay.
And just to confirm, this is a permeable, drivable grass paver system.
Yeah.
And then this is a berm. So it's really intended to not be parked on by any cars. This is not a parking space.
Yeah.
And hopefully that berm will deter folks from parking on there. And so this should be open at any time for an emergency vehicle to come in and fill up the cistern or access the cistern.
Okay.
There we go. Now you see it. Now I see it.
Yeah. Yeah, that was my only concern with that, Bill, was that, if there happened to be a lot of cars around that particular evening, that you know, getting access from a line from there up to the town hall might be challenging, but if you feel comfortable with it, you're the fire chief.
Yeah, I mean, you know, from an operational perspective, if there was an issue, an incident in the town hall, the engine would go down there and we get a ladder truck on either side of that island in the back. And then it's hand stretching a couple hundred feet of hose through the alleyway. We're not gonna be passing any vehicles through there. The vehicles that get in there early are gonna be stuck there until the incident's done.
Okay. That's all I had. We'll just have to wait for Jeff's report on the stormwater management and
Once the documents come over.
yeah. You
So
need
yeah,
to-
in terms of next steps, just a quick discussion on that. So, it sounds like we do have to go through site plan review? Is
Yes.
that correct? Okay.
That's correct.
And so we can submit documents, probably later next week.
Jeff, do you have a card on you?
And is that something that we could get the engineering review done, or does that need to wait until the 25th?
No, Jeff, as soon as he has an opportunity to review it, he'll send you, he usually does a report, and he'll send it to you ahead of time, so you're prepared. And feel free to contact him and discuss anything you want.
Okay, great.
I mean, Jeff's very receptive.
Customarily, what we do is we'll issue a review letter to the planning board and CC the design team.
Okay.
Is what we've done with other projects in town.
Great.
And if I'm given latitude to get underway with it and
Yes.
communicate with you, just move forward, sure.
Excellent.
Mr. Selectman, actually, you're gonna, before you say anything, just be aware that you're gonna have to fund the review.
Gemma, can you slide it back to the entrance again?
Sure.
And this is just a suggestion, I'm obviously not an engineer. Although, so the pole is pretty far away, and if you look out the window there, if it's at all possible to cut that corner.
Yeah, that's what we were talking
To make it even wider. And, I mean, granted, we don't want to take any way of the stormwater management and the green space we're talking, but if it's just a matter of a slight adjustment to bring it back in so the cars aren't in the road, sorry, the parked cars aren't in the roadway, it might just be that much more helpful for that entrance to make it as wide as possible. It is a frustrating entrance, having to navigate it. And then don't forget the flagpole.
Yes, we have to have final confirmation, I guess, from you on the
Anywhere that
location.
there is, by the walkway would be great. I think that's just my opinion, and you put it anywhere you'd like, but
Okay.
just seeing it come, you'll be able to see it coming down Maple Street is gonna look really great right there.
Yeah, and we didn't get a chance to go through any of the proposed landscaping on site, but Dan shared with us some historic photos of the property, and there are some beautiful canopy trees along the street, and so we are trying to kind of recreate that. So we'll adjust the location of those trees to be able to kind of fit in that flagpole and make sure that it's highlighted.
I see,
Mr. Selectman, one question. I mean, this is a little off base, but has anybody asked you about renaming this building?
Yes, we're actually working on that. It's something, it's already been brought up and.
All for it.
Yeah.
All for it.
Just, it's very confusing of where the library is.
Gotcha. All for it, though.
I've got it wrong. Thank you, guys.
See ya.
Bye-bye.
So they're working on
Do you want it to be called the James Quirk Town Hall?
oh, the Lana Road.
Honor Rhodes Library, because she was our first librarian.
Okay, I like that.
I like that too,
Yeah.
very much. Going through the minutes.
Yeah.
Are there any other questions that we can answer tonight?
No, I think,
On
Like
this
I
whole
said.
thing, does this include painting the town hall and sprucing the whole area up?
So painting of the town hall is not included in this actual project, but I know there's been some discussions about
Yeah,
that
there are
happening.
plans to do that, yeah.
so we're gonna have the site plan review on the 25th, correct?
I got one question about non-site plan review stuff, but I just
Yeah,
wanted
go
to bring
ahead.
up. Listening to the discussion about the flagpole location, being able to see it, just a thought is uplighting on it so the flag can be flown at night.
Night, yeah,
And
definitely need
that
uplighting.
might-
Yeah, we're looking at
Okay.
Yep. So,
It's not,
Yeah.
it's not something that's subject to what I'll be looking at, but
but I like it.
I actually like your landscaping rendering too. I
Yeah,
mean,
it's good.
it, Those canopy trees will make a big difference.
Yeah, please don't take our critical stuff for.
No, we're just
for
doing our
not
job.
liking the
No, this is
project.
great.
We love the
We've-
project.
No, we're just doing our job.
We appreciate the feedback, and as Ann mentioned, we are under a grant deadline, so
Yeah.
as soon as we can get feedback, things like big red flags, like the you know, width of the entrance and exit, things like that are super helpful for us to have as early as possible so that we can keep on our schedule as best as we can.
Well, we'll go 100, and I know that Ann will be kind enough to remind us as quickly. I mean, really, I mean, if this is something that's crucial, please feel free to, you know, give us a
Yeah.
little kick in the butt, you know, with emails and stuff. 'cause,
Yeah, I'm not criticizing on it, I just know it's tight turning in and tight
I mean,
turning out.
believe me, the whole town wants to see this cleaned up. I mean, it's just
I
a
hear it
mess
all the
right
time.
now.
And people that say, well, it's a town project, but we've got to overlook this project just like it's any other project.
Sure.
Either that or we're not doing our due diligence for the community.
Yep.
And, you know, we don't want anyone pointing the fingers back at us and saying, you're letting the town off easy, but us. You're raking us over the coals. But I do think it's going to be a tremendous upgrade for the area, and it'll look nice when it's done. But I think those canopy trees and stuff are gonna be critical to making it appeal.
Yeah, hopefully we'll give you guys a nice little park for folks to enjoy
Yeah.
and sit in and have meetings one day, so.
Yep, that'd be nice. That'd be nice.
We'll try and get you a couple more parking spaces, too.
Yeah,
Thanks. Great.
whatever you can do. I know I mean, to be honest with you, I was against putting the police department right there. This campus was tight to begin with, and to fit all this into one small campus, it's challenging at best, so, but we'll get through it.
Great.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you, everyone.
Yes,
Thank you.
You need to vote for the public hearing date?
Oh, yeah, public hearing date,
Make a motion for the public hearing. What's the date on it, Gil?
April 25th.
April 25th?
April 25th, 7 PM.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
So April 25th, well, thank you, Gail.
See you on the 25th.
Thank
Sounds
you.
good, thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff.
You're welcome.
All right, I think we can now move on to,
Hey, Bill,
yes.
what paperwork are they supposed to supply to me? for
Oh, yeah,
the-
you know what,
Gemma, there's paperwork that I need to have
Okay.
in order to submit
Yeah,
for the
it's a-
paperwork and everything.
Do you need
yeah,
it right now? Do you want me to?
Oh, no, 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 no.
Okay.
No, next couple of days is fine.
Okay, this, like, the site plan review application?
Yes, yeah.
Sure, yep, we won't have a stamped plan set ready until next week, just
Yeah,
'cause
just
we're
as
still
soon
Yeah,
as you
working
can.
on
that's okay.
everything.
Yep. Bill,
you can get them to Jeff.
would they need to have the, a butters list as well for the
No.
town hall?
No,
No, okay.
Okay, but I can get you the application and.
it's a
That
municipal
would be great,
project.
Okay.
yes, so I know how to put it in the paper.
Sure.
Okay,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
Actually, you know, maybe you better do a butters list.
Go to Jean in the assessor's office
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
for a site
Well,
plan
the site plan as it, as.
until 300 feet. Jean,
No, because you start breaking rules and everybody thinks you're hiding something.
Okay. Thank you.
No, thanks. Yeah, and unfortunately, I don't know what we got for funds in the planning board account, but,
we have about $1,000 in for hearings,
okay, we're going.
because we're also going to have to pay
The mailings
Jeff.
for the butters list
Yep.
and Jeff's fees.
Yes.
Now, Jeff's fees are probably gonna run past that $1,000, so we're gonna have to get approval from the select board for
With him,
additional
yep.
funds, so
Well,
we'll have to submit to them.
that will be your job.
Yeah, I'll get it up there. I'll give it to Jack.
Oh,
Jack,
Jack.
you wanna get us some more money?
Yeah, I'll get you the money.
Yeah, just to pay for this, Jeff's engineering.
No, sure.
Bill, if it's related to this project too, if you loop Ann in, because I know she's given a talk to Kim about if there's additional funding for the engineering review of this project.
The engineering review and the mailing of the butters,
A butters list, yeah, because
so
If we need to, yeah, I mean, I think,
if there's funds available from your side, that'd be great. because it'll kill my planning board account.
And we can talk about it, there might be some other funds we can use too.
Yeah. I'm sure we can get it accomplished.
It's important.
Yep.
I really think there's not gonna be any big money out there for a butters list, talking $10, $20, so
Yeah,
I think we can handle that.
yeah, exactly.
I think it'll be more than that.
Yeah, it'd probably be like,
It's $7 a certified meal.
yeah. I'm not too worried about it. I'm sure we can come up with the money. It's always better to ask for forgiveness than permission.
Welcome back, Bill.
Yep. All right, now we will continue the public hearing on 5 Morrison. Thank you. Good night. Come on up. Thanks for the introduction. Very nice.
So are you?
Can I give this to you?
Sure.
We received some comments last week, and obviously the comments made the changes. I wasn't able to get copies to Jeff until this afternoon.
At the dog.
Is that your dog, Jack? Or is that Damon's dog?
Nah, that's mine.
He wants to be heard.
These are reduced copies.
Sure.
Took care of the comments. I was able to get those over to Jeff this afternoon. It was, of course, too late for him to
Review them.
take a look at those at this point. But there's there was three things that I wanted to kind of go over with you folks tonight. One was the waivers. We talked about that in the comments. I listed the waivers on the cover sheet that we're looking for. One is for landscaping, which would be the trees. The other one is the parking. That would basically
Where are the
dealt with-
waivers listed?
It's probably in that square on the right-hand side, about the mid of the page.
I don't see anything.
I don't see any waivers listed here. It says zoning bylaws waivers requested. And I see parking requirements.
To the left of that, the very bottom left corner of the square.
Yeah, I see one thing there.
Next to the rendering, at the bottom of that box.
Yeah, right here, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I see one item.
203C,
Yeah.
I2 and 10.
You got better odds than I got.
Yeah,
Mr.
just,
Chairman, that's, for the record, I'm Jeff Walsh of Graves Engineering.
is that the only waiver?
Engineering consultant to the planning board. There's actually, I found it very confusing myself too, because normally when I see waivers for like a definitive plan or a preliminary plan for a subdivision, the waivers are listed out individually by the full numeral right down to the, you know, letter B, letter A, whatever.
Right.
There's actually, the way it's written, I believe Mr. Drexel was trying to request three different waivers, and I was confused about it, but That's got to do with the presentation of the request for waivers. Again, one of my comments had to do with, I don't understand it, please list out each one separately. The second thing that I can't help the board with, because it's not an engineering issue, is whether or not waivers can even be granted from zoning bylaw requirements. And that I can't help you with, but commented on that as well in our last letter.
Actually, under site plan, we are the SPGA, so we can grant waivers. under the site
Okay,
plan. Yeah, yeah.
I think the question in my mind too is, how do you want those presented? Some places they're on.
I want them listed out on the plan, very clearly. A lot of times, wherever, there's usually a page that has like particular documentation on it, and we carry the waivers to that page, because I like them to be on the plan.
So the waivers would be filed with the plans?
Absolutely.
Okay, then that's how they will be. All right, I can detail those a little bit better and get them on the plans.
Yeah, I just want to, because I haven't seen this, so I just want to take a minute to review some of the things on the plan.
Bill, I also want those waivers on a list that's submitted.
Yes.
And can we get all this information, I haven't seen these, can we get these electronically?
Yes.
The waivers? Yeah, I'm sure you could.
The whole thing.
Oh, the whole plan?
Everything.
Yeah. Can you email this?
Yeah, I can.
Them to Gail, and then she'll send them out to the board.
And I'll detail those further and
Sure.
for the three that we're looking for, and then get those on the plans.
Now, just refresh my memory, is there gonna be vehicle parking inside the buildings?
No.
Okay.
What'll happen is, there'll be some supplies in there, and a truck will pull up out front. Those supplies will be carried out into the parking space and put in the truck, and basically the truck will drive away. It's not meant for the vehicles to be in there or backed in there.
Right, as long as it's clear to the tenants?
Is this gonna be just like a mini storage?
It's in,
This is, I'm sorry, I'm Rick with one of the development companies. This is, we're doing the same type over in Franklin. This is supposed to be like a contractor's space.
Of a landscape wants to rent this?
No, we're gonna try to avoid landscaping because we're not allowing.
An example.
Small plumbing companies, electricians, siding.
In places to store their stock?
Yeah, they store their stuff so they come in the morning, get their
Exactly,
ladders.
some warehouse space and a small 12 by 16 office with a restroom and a slop sink in the warehouse. We try to avoid something like a landscaping company because we plan on not allowing outdoor storage on the lease.
Yeah, and the other, I'm not sure how we govern this, but as far as the use,
the use of the facility, the unit, would be described in the lease, and in the lease.
I just want, I want to make sure that there's no hazardous materials stored at the site.
Okay.
So if you were to allow a landscape company and they were storing fertilizer in there, that'd be a problem. Because you don't have any drainage system to support that.
Okay.
You don't have a tank that it's gonna go into or whatever the case may be. So, I would make sure your leases state that there's no hazardous material, because I don't wanna have to send building down to do a cease and desist on the place.
Yeah, now, in Franklin, what we're doing there is, the town there, have some demands too, and upon completion of the first building, we have to submit a list of potential tenants, and every tenant that goes in needs to be approved by the board, needs to be approved by the town, so, just to make sure we're
Well, they should be coming
compliant.
for a use allowance anyways.
Correct.
When they
Correct.
file their business license,
And,
so.
but we have our own, we're setting our own parameters as
Good.
far as what type
Good.
of tenants we also want to occupy the building.
Good. Do you have any of that in place yet? Or-
The parameters, we have a standard lease agreement that we.
If you could supply
our
that
lawyer-
at the next meeting, because this is going to get continued, because Jeff hasn't had
Okay,
chance to finish his review. If you could supply that at the next meeting, that'd be
of
great.
course, yeah.
And then we can wrap that into a decision if necessary.
Yeah, well, I want to make it a condition of the decision, and so we can address that at the next meeting, but that will be a condition, Jack, regarding, and like I said, when they file a business license, they should come from for an allowable use, because there's going to be probably so many uses in the building, different uses. Other than that, I think, do you guys have any further questions? Or Jack, do you have any questions?
No, yeah, I can't see the plans and I haven't seen them. I'm gonna be curious about landscaping. I'm curious about the waivers.
Yeah, unfortunately, we can't answer those questions for you.
I know there was an issue with an outlet pipe. Was that ever resolved? Jeff?
You're talking about that 8-inch outlet pipe that's existing?
Yep.
Yeah, since we met last, we were on the field with conservation, and we checked the wetland edge, and we're in agreement with that.
Where was that 8-inch?
That pipe was flowing toward our site. I think I was saying that the last meeting. That 8-inch flowing into our site. And what we've done in the plans is we've designated that, I've changed it to a 12-inch diameter pipe, and it's sloped away from our site. So it goes out into the drainage that's out there, already built under the NOI for the neighbor, for the painting company.
Have you looked at that?
I'm sorry?
Have you looked at that?
Jack, you're speaking to me, is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. I did, I actually measured the pipe myself out in the field, and it was laid so that it slopes in toward the project according to the topography. I confirmed it's 8-inch. The comment I had in my last letter out was, they want to reuse the pipe and relay it, but they call it a 12-inch, and it says reuse, relay the pipe. That tells me reuse what's in the ground, but it was labeled a different diameter. So again, if I understand, the hydrology modeled a 12-inch, so the hydrology said the 12-inch would work. Quite frankly, either diameter is fine with me as long as the plans, the hydrology are consistent, and the hydrology model shows that whatever they're proposing, it works properly.
It wasn't intended for that pipe to be, that existing pipe to be relayed. It was going to be a new pipe. That's what we intended. And what I've done on the plans is I've noted that it's going to be a new 12-inch pipe and sloping away. And so it'll give us that same effect as the existing 8-inch, so we're not exceeding the runoff from our site in the existing condition. We filed a notice of intent with conservation since we met last as well. And I spoke to one of the folks up there at DEP regarding getting a DEP number for the NOI. That should be forthcoming. They were asking for certain things for the existing condition, and I basically explained to him what was available in the site in the condition that it's in now, and so he understood that. So he was going to see if there was something at DEP that he might be able to send, but from what he looked at so far, he hasn't found anything on that drainage on the abutting property that explains why that pipe was tilted toward our site, number one, and number two, the intent of the drainage design for the abutting property. That drainage on for the abutting property as it goes under the road is different than what was proposed, I believe. It's a 36-inch corrugated metal pipe that's going under the road and then down toward Providence Street. So what we have is the best information that we can get. And so he understood that, so he was going to get back to me. He'll probably issue a DEP number maybe in the next 3-4 days or something like that, hopefully by the end of this week. But we have the NOI meeting coming up, or the Conservation Commission meeting coming up on, I believe it's April 21st is when we'll meet them again. And hopefully we'll have all that squared away. And in the meantime, we'll take care of any comments that Jeff may have on this go around. But
Did, number 4, Jeff, did you, is that revised?
sorry again?
Did you revise Jeff's comment on number 4?
Number 4.
Striped access aisle does not provide adequate access if the proposed man doors are outward swinging.
I did revise that to 5 feet,
Okay.
yes. Yes, and it's clear 5 feet,
Okay.
yeah.
That was one of the ones I was concerned with.
The two bigger concerns I had was that, because that affects where the parking spaces go, it affects the access aisle width at the tightest point. The two buildings closest to each other are not parallel, so there's a pinch point, if you will, that the walkway access could potentially affect the width of the vehicle access aisle. So I'm going to take a look to see how that plays out. But importantly, of course, is if the Architectural Access Board says you need 5 foot for an outswinging door, well, to the best of my knowledge, all commercial buildings have to be outswinging doors, so that means you gotta have the 5 foot. And so I'd expect the waiver request. The zoning bylaw actually says also 5 foot wide access aisle whenever parking abuts the building, so I'd like to think that waiver request has gone away. There's certainly no need for it.
Yeah.
If the access aisle's been widened to 5 feet. The other concern I have is there was a couple of retaining walls previously proposed. On the last set of plans, they're proposing 1 horizontal to 1 vertical slopes. And I'm not talking about erosion control. The surface has to be such that it doesn't erode, but I want to speak for a minute about slope stability, and that's the ability of the slope to stay put without sliding, sloughing, falling down, if you will, slope failure. Slope stability is very important. It's accepted that if you go 2 horizontal to 1 vertical or less steep, then it's going to stay put. That's the accepted practice. 1-to-1 slopes, they can be, depending on the type of material, and depending on whether it's saturated or not, the slope may not be stable because it's just too steep and there's not enough what they call friction within the soil itself to keep the soil from sliding. And my recommendation to the planning board that if they're still proposing 1-to-1 slopes, you treat those slopes like a retaining wall that requires a structural review, structural design, in that the site plan can talk to the geometry of the slope and so on and so forth, but it still needs to be designed, would still need to be designed by a geotechnical engineer at some point to put the adequate reinforcing behind that slope, similar to what we see with retaining walls. Again, on site plan review, a lot of times we see the height, the location, yada, yada, but we don't see the structural design of the walls till later on, and that falls under a building permit. Whether or not the 1-to-1 slope falls under a building permit, I don't know, but I do believe that this board has latitude to require, as a condition of approval, that a geotechnical engineer design that slope and any reinforcing necessary for it and to, you know, present that later on. I don't think it's prudent to address it at site plan review, but again, I think it's
Yeah.
prudent to address it just like we would retaining
And we can
walls.
make a condition too.
And it is our intention to provide that engineering for that
Okay.
material and that slope.
Two things that concern me, well, the slope behind the building farthest in the back is that it's a cut condition. There's a wetland not too far up above, which leads me to believe there's probably going to be saturated conditions out near the slope water seepage, and it's going to be very important that it's adequately designed by a geotechnical engineer. Thank you.
I think the slope that's out there right now, that is probably pretty close to 1-to-1, and it's been like that since 2010, maybe, when they altered the site to begin with. And it hasn't really gone anywhere as far as, you know what I mean, it hasn't failed in that respect, so, but we will have a geotechnical engineer on board with this material that we want to use to stabilize that slope.
It is a steep slope there, but they are probably moving from where the slope exists now to the edge of the wetland line defined by wetland flags 133, 132, 131. They're moving about half the distance. They're moving up near the property line and about half the distance from the existing slope to the wetland. So again, that's what leads me to the concern here about that.
Here's just some of the information on the
We're going to be watching this very closely.
for the stabilization of the slope.
This seems like there's always an issue here. They've been worried about this pipe that's been in the ground for 10 years. When you're doing a new site, you should be, no matter what's there for a pipe, if it needs to be changed, it needs to follow stormwater management. Why are we trying to fight this 8-inch pipe for the last 3 months?
Good question.
Well, I can tell you from my end, Damon, whether the pipe slopes one way or the other, the water's gonna go, whatever side the water's highest on, as you know, that's what's gonna feed the pipe, and if the pipe's laid in the wrong direction, the water's gonna go out the other way. So, to me, the arguments I've been hearing about which way it slopes, that's irrelevant.
Correct.
And I've just been hammering on the fact that when I review these plans, I don't always look at them for compliance with the town requirements, but as part of my review, I put my contractor's hat on, if you will, and I look at it from the point of a contractor and says, do I have the information I need to order the materials to install this and so on and so forth? And unfortunately, you know, there'll be review comments where when I look at it in the case of a contractor and, well, it says relay the pipe but, you know, we're haggling over 8-inch versus 12-inch. I don't know why it's gone on so long, but that's the basis of why I keep harping on this.
Yep, I agree with you 100%, so, I mean, at this point, I think that they should just take this project as a new project with raw land and not worry about the pipe and design it the way that it needs to be designed with the updated stormwater management formulas, and stop worrying about where this pipe was pitched the wrong way. Dig it up and start over and do it the right way from the get-go.
It's, I would make a suggestion here, and I think that's the route I'd follow with this to get this behind us. I mean, this project has been going on quite a while. I mean, it had started at the point in time when we first talked to you, is when I was heading out on my leave. I've had a liver transplant and recovered and back in the chair, and we're still kicking this thing around. Let's just get it done the way it needs to be done and get it past us, and then your client can start building his buildings.
And we've been going along with this, with the design, based on what we would normally do, that pipe, again, it is irrelevant, which way it slopes, it should slope out, and that's what we're doing. That's the way we've been going, but I just seem to have this thing about,
We have not, we're missing, it took us three meetings to get an application. It's just, it's been going on and on and on, and you're still talking about the pipe.
Yeah, let's just, we've got to work to bring this to conclusion. Either that or we've got to render a decision on it. And the decision you're not going to like. I mean, it has to be done the way that we're looking to have it done. Jeff's provided the guidance of what this board expects. Concom's going to give you their version of it. But bottom line is, you've got to bring these plans in order so we can resolve this and get this done. You know, I would suspect we're going to continue it to the next meeting. I would suspect by the next meeting, you have this cleared. All right, or there may be a decision this board has to make.
what's the date of the next meeting?
What's the next meeting?
April 11th.
April 11th.
April 11th?
April 11th.
And we'll put you on at 7:30.
7 o'clock, everybody's.
Okay, you gotta,
Oh, yeah, everybody's on at 7 now.
yeah.
Yeah.
Vote, gotta vote to
Yes,
continue
I
it.
need a
Make
motion.
a motion to continue 5 Morrison Drive to April 11th, 7 o'clock.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Please, bring this to fruition. Work with Jeff, you know, speak back and forth, just get this thing done.
I think we're at the point now where we're down to one or two comments. If there's something that, that you have that, you know, you need some clarification on, or
All right.
we can get, you know, you can contact me and I'll get it,
Yeah, and at that meeting, if you could bring that,
Yeah, I already put it down.
okay,
Jack is gonna tell us something.
and we'll,
There's some details here on the slope stabilization.
Okay.
That we plan on using. Again, the same.
he's the
one.
most important guy.
Oh, I got one
Okay.
already, thank you, yep.
Jack, you had something you wanted to
necessary-
add?
The electronic, Jack?
What's that?
The electronic you want?
Yeah.
Want to send everything?
the waiver,
to
yeah.
Gail
I'll s-
Electronically?
Okay.
Yeah,
And I'll detail those waivers on the
Please.
title sheet before I send it to you.
Each one separate.
yeah,
Each waiver is separate, yeah.
yeah.
Jeff Walsh.
That's how we usually do it. You deal with each waiver separately,
Yes,
Okay.
okay? Right, Bill?
I mean, if he doesn't have everything addressed with Jeff Walsh, then by the next meeting, there's no sense of being on the agenda, the way that's what I feel. You tell me what you think.
I'm sorry,
well, we'll continue to then, if they're not ready,
I
we'll
was
just have
listening to you
to,
till the.
they won't have to show up, but we'll continue it again, but.
There's no sense of wasting everybody's time.
But the bottom line is, by the end of April, this has to be done. I mean, either that or the board needs to render a decision. You know, we can't keep continuing this thing until time, you know. I mean, it's not doing you guys any good to continue this. Let's get this resolved, let's get it done. If you're not prepared by the next meeting, let us know, we'll continue it again. But by the 28th or 25th, April 25th, this needs to be done.
Yep.
Needs to be done.
All right. Thank you very much.
Good.
Mr. Chairman,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, your name is,
Rick
and your last name?
Almeida.
Rick Almeida, thank you, asked me if it was necessary to have somebody from the, that represents the materials they're using, considering to use for the slope to be here. I don't think it's necessary to be here for the next meeting. The point is, they're looking into this. I'm still gonna recommend to the board that even if there's brochures, information submitted along to support what they want to use
Yeah.
at the site plan, that at some point a geotechnical engineer's stamp on the geotechnical
Yeah.
drawings using this material come later on. So that's, for that reason, I don't think it's necessary.
I appreciate
for
Well,
them to be here.
and we'll put that as a condition of the decision too.
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
We're getting there.
We're getting there. Getting there. All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a good night.
See you in April.
Welcome back.
Thank you. Thank you. It's good to be back,
Right,
believe
Bill,
me.
you just tell them all the waivers listed individually on a separate piece of paper, on the
As well.
submittal, like this. So we can.
Yeah, well, I think he's gonna,
I'm gonna put it on the title sheet.
put him on title sheet and
Title sheet or
put it
whatever.
on a piece of paper
Each
so
one
when,
individually.
so we can review it. Yeah, so we can
And we can
review it.
go through them
Be
individually.
attached to a decision.
Yeah, then we can attach it to the decision too, the
Okay.
waivers, so.
And then it'll go on the title sheet in the end?
Yeah,
Okay.
Yep.
Very good, thank you.
thank you. What else we got? Do we got anything else here? Is that it?
Minutes.
Oh, the minutes. You guys gotta vote on the minutes. Damon? Damon? Yeah, you, Barry and John need to, vote on the minutes.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes for February 14.
All those in favor?
Aye. Second.
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
There's just one thing, Bill, that's all.
The agenda's been dispensed of.
I'll talk to you.
What?
Hi, guys.
All right, Jack, give me a call, because we got a lot to discuss.